I'm making a video right now discussing uh, my time in Brazil. So recently I went on a trip to Brazil and I went to the city of Rio de Janeiro. In the city, I saw a number of different things, some good, some bad, some interesting. But overall, it was a experience that will be in my thoughts for some time. It was my first time in South America, and upon arrival, I arrived at the GIG airport, and then from there I went to my lodging. Uh, I later went out and explored the beach area. And when I was walking around and driving around prior to getting to my lodging, I saw the layout of the city. It reminded me a lot of the American city, New York City. The buildings, the infrastructure. However, of course, you had the beachfront, which you don't have in New York City. One of the things that I did notice was that, for this country to be a majority black country or people of African descent, I didn't see too many Africans out on the beach or people of African descent out on the beach that were Brazilian, at least not in Rio. And most of the people of a dark hue that I saw were normally the tourists like myself. Um, when observing the people, I noticed, unlike some other Latin country I went to, they let off a particular vibration. Some was good, some was not so good. I felt a bit of racism there, but in subtle fashion, similar to what you see in some countries, some Western countries around the world, including the United States of America. When I was there, I would observe that the people, they'd be cool with me, but it seemed like they were cool with me because they anticipated that I had funds or that I was American, so I must be well off. And it seemed like there was a desire to attempt to juice me. And this wasn't everybody. Many people had their own things, had their own thing going on, and wasn't concerned with me, or was indifferent, or was generally interested in communicating with me. But I did feel like there was a desire to get the gringo, if you will. And I also felt that there was a bit of undercurrent of racism. Later on, using other means of observation skills of people that I've learned over the years, I did further research on the country, which validated everything I was experiencing. It's actually well documented with regards to Brazil and their racial issues with respect to the people of the dark hue. It's kind of sad because when observing the country, from the music to the style, the clothing, the images you see on the walls within and around Rio, is mostly African influence or black influence. So kind of confused why the place is racist. It actually boggled my mind. I was really wanted to, confirm things because it wasn't adding up. Um, you know, but as I said earlier, I observed there wasn't that many black people on the beach in a country that's majority black, which I find bizarre. Although a lot of the black people do live in an area called Bahia, but still didn't really make a lot of sense to me. But perhaps there's a reason about that I'm not aware of. Segregation, I don't know, but I'm not sure. So however, I did notice that most of the time, the people did speak to me. Something you definitely don't get in the States. The traditional greeting was bom dia. Um, and, and for the most part, I would ask people questions. At least sometimes I would ask people questions that would be helpful. However, a lot of people either A, didn't speak English, or B, pretended that they didn't speak English. And the reason I say pretended is because sometimes I would talk to people, they would talk to me in English like it was no problem, and then start speaking, saying they didn't understand. They could say that in English, but then started speaking in Portuguese. It was very weird. And I noticed that in another country I went to, which was different from some other Latin country I've gone to. And there's a lot of reason for that. It doesn't have to do with discrimination or anything like that. It could be a lot of, depending on which country you go to, like any place in the planet, doesn't matter whether it's a particular region like Latin America or Europe. Some countries being bilingual is push, and in some countries not. It could be maybe they understood some of the English words I was saying, but they didn't understand others. So it could have been multiple reasons behind that. However, anybody that's speaking on observational skills, anybody knows the universal language, body language, can tell you a lot. So when watching the people, I did notice there was some confusion. Sorry about that. Some confusion, and then it was also some playing. And I picked up on that, and I found that a little off-putting. And particularly the playing would end with some desire to get some form of monetary gain, donation, things of that nature. This place reminded me a little bit of the Dominican Republic, another country that's majority black, but there's racial segregation to black people. And if you look at how the Dominican people look, that makes absolutely no sense. But washing can really do a number on people, as you can see in a number of different countries. To include some of the most richest countries on the planet. So in any event, when I was there, I observed that, but I also observed a warmth, a positivity, a feeling of freeness, especially on the beaches. Man, those women, whew, definitely. Brazil, when it comes to physical look, a lot of the Brazilian women, yeah, very attractive. A lot of the men very in shape. A lot of people very in shape. Beaches seem like the number one thing to do, particularly on the weekends. Soccer seemed very big. Seemed like a huge deal to a lot of Brazilians. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu did not seem like it was that big of a deal to a lot of Brazilians, although some it was. This depends on the circle you was involved in. So that's a sport that's very popular, but it wasn't quite as popular as soccer, and that was noted by some people that I did jiu-jitsu with. Let's see. When observing the people and going around the various neighborhoods in Rio, Copacabana, Ipanema, Leblon, Lapa, I observed that there was a bit of a slight difference in the layout of the city. I noticed with the area of Copacabana and also Lebanon, that the area was very was pretty nice. It seemed like it was well kept up for the most part. But when I went to the neighborhoods of Central and Lapas, the area seemed a little bit run down, a little bit sketchy, if you will. I.e., could be a little bit dangerous. So it was telling to see where the city was investing its money. However, the party area, was Lapas, and within a section of the area, it was pretty cool. It had a lot of different sets of bars, clubs. I was on a party bus, so I got to overlook the neighborhood, which was flooded full of people. It was a Friday night, and they went out on a Saturday night as well. Lots of people out there in the city enjoying themselves, dancing, partying. I think I saw people drinking. I think around there you could walk around with a drink, if I recall correctly. Let's see what else with regards to Rio. Rio was I said earlier. I spoke on the what I sense of segregation, and I later talked to some of the people in the area. I talked to one of my tour guides who kind of danced around it. I was looking for him to confirm some things, and he said, I'm not going to be fooled that it's racism, but I think that when you look at Brazilians, we all look different. Yeah, black, white, mestizo, or Aboriginal looking people there, or people that were there pre-Columbus, and which was accurate. Then I talked to other people that told me, well, yeah, Brazilians, they have a lot of issues. They're shooting up people in the favelas, black people, black men, for nothing. So it's and blacks are, basically looked upon as being stupid, and they just want to have a white woman and all this other racist nonsense, because these other groups of people are not trying to be attracted to them. It's just the black guys trying to go after them. So you had that kind of nonsense, and the blacks can only play sports and dance well. And when I talked to one of the individuals, actually several different individuals, they kind of confirmed that that kind of racist rhetoric is pushed. But I did feel I felt that there was different sides of Brazil, and particularly Rio. It just depends on who you were talking to and where you was at. Overall, when I look at Rio, I think it's an interesting place. It has a rich history. Rio in Brazil. But I think that for me, if I was recommending a place, I would tell people to perhaps go to some other spots, maybe Bahia, see how the black people are living up there, see how they do carnival when carnival time comes around. If you do want to go to Rio, maybe go during carnival time. Make sure you got a group of people that you're going with. I don't like, I don't like driving past favelas and seeing how it looks, and seeing that, it looks like shanty towns. It makes me wonder, what is the city investing in? They investing in one part of the city, but then they got another part of the city where wires are hanging around and sewage is just running through the streets, and it smells. I mean, it makes you wonder what's going on there. And then you're hearing about the killings and all that, and that's not something that you definitely want to hear about. But unfortunately, some of that kind of activity goes on in other parts of the world. So the biggest thing is, I think that, whenever I see stuff like that, you can be like, judging the people as a whole in the country, but I don't go there, yada yada yada. But before you judge something, you need to hold the mirror up to you and see, what's going on in your backyard. You can't, be like, oh, don't go to this country, that country. So with that being said, and what I felt and the vibration I felt, especially with some of the games that I saw people playing, using certain methods to determine that, I would say, you could go to Brazil, but go where the people are. Go where the people they are the originators of the Brazilian culture. Go where the blacks are. Go see how they living. Go see what they doing. Go support their cause. Go check out some of the quilombos. Quilombos were cities that were made by black slaves that escaped their slave masters after they beat them up using various means, to include the Bahamian influenced martial art capoeira. And they escaped up to various areas in Brazil, mountainous areas, and created their own cities so that they could live out their life without a whole bunch of nonsense and drama. Go check those places out. Go check out some of the different the various locations and beaches in that region of the country. That's what I would say. So that's my opinion on Brazil. As of now, I might do another video chronicling a little bit more. Actually, I will do another video. I'll talk about some of the nightlife and some of the different places you can check out, what to look for, some different things to eat, things of that nature. Overall, my opinion of Brazil, at least Rio, the city I was in, I thought, it was okay. It was interesting. I didn't like the undercurrent of racism that I was able to feel via the attitudes of some of the people, and how the attitudes such as ignoring you or looking at you, just some of the stares, which was kind of silly, especially since the people are mixed. I don't really get that. But also the juicing you, trying to get money off of you. They go get the gringo effect, where they trying to, they see your gringo, see how you talk, see your physiology, and then trying to get money off you. Definitely didn't like that. That's not cool. However, I think that, as a country, as a city that, had a lot of cool people there. People I talked to out in the streets, women I talked to out in the streets, very friendly. I mean, you at least get a hello, a hi, a bom dia. You get something. It's not like, get away from me, you want to attack me or rape me. I didn't get a whole lot of that. So that's something that needs to be pointed out. You didn't have that kind of activity, which you can find like in places like the States, unfortunately, which I don't get. But we're all Americans, but you're treating dark-skinned Americans like crap simply because they're dark-skinned, but then you're complaining that you don't make equal pay to men. Makes no sense. But at least in Rio and in the parts of Rio I went to, the people had enough class to open their mouths, speak, and were respectful as long as you came to them correct. So I think is a city that has a lot of history to it. I think that there's some issues with regards to how people that are dark hue are treated. However, I think overall it's an interesting place to check out. Maybe not go for like a whole week, maybe like a couple of days, and go to Sao Paulo, and then go to the region of the country I spoke of, Bahia, and check out some more of the rich history of the country. All right, I'm gonna end this video now. Thank you. Peace.